privilege and opportunity to be up here. Tell you what, the last month we've had some excellent speakers up here, Brother German, Brother Cox, and also Brother Ron been back with us the last 2 weeks. And we're just so encouraged and blessed by having such good men here to be able to teach and to direct us in good Bible study, and we're fortunate here.
We just got over a gospel meeting with Brother Jim and Lee, Cox and Jim.
Yes, we have.
We looking forward. We got a guy coming out of Texas, Austin Wiggins. He's from Vidor, Texas. You know where that's at? But he's got a father named Steve Wiggins. He goes around everywhere, ministry and stuff. We got a good today. Ray here now.
I wouldn't say that. We'll sure give it a shot anyway, brother.
We'll give it a shot
anyway.
Good.
All right. Let's all be turning our Bibles to Proverbs chapter 5. It's been a little over a month, I think, since we've been into that study. But again, we'll get started, Lord's will. What a beautiful day out there He's blessed us with, is it not? I tell you what. And He's blessed us with good rain. The last 2 days of rain has just been slow and steady, and it's just been wonderful. It has just been wonderful, and certainly we was in a need of that, and we thank the good Lord for that. Good Lord, look out here and thank Him for each and every one that are here today. And it's just wonderful. I tell you, we sometimes take for granted what we have, but let us thank Him each and every day for what He gives to us. You know, we really are blessed, as what was said in our prayer and the songs that we sung this morning. We're going to see in chapter 5 here, again, Solomon instructing his son about the things, you know, that take heed on, watch out, you know, and learn. And what better way to learn from someone who has walked down that path, you know. I can learn more from somebody that has said, you know, I've been where you may be going. Let me tell you right now what you need to do, right?
Amen.
What you need to stop, or what you need to change direction to. And certainly, his son, you know, he was trying his best to teach his son what are the best ways. In this chapter, we're going to see where it's good to stay with the one that you marry. Stay with that woman. Don't be out here looking for strange women and getting into all kinds of trouble. That way, they'll only bring harm to you. And we're going to see that as we go into our study this morning. But let's go ahead and start with verse 1 on chapter 5 of Proverbs. Notice he says, "My son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thine ears to my understanding." How could we define the word wisdom? What does wisdom mean? Let's ask that. What is wisdom?
Life lessons you learn.
Lessons learned. Okay. Anybody else?
Using knowledge to the best way to help us.
Using that knowledge. That's right. Applying oneself to that. Right. You know, so much is into that, you know, and how much has there been any wise people in our life that has instructed us in the right way that we should go? Have we always took heed to that? Yeah, but it seems like the more older and mature that we get, we understand how right they was, right? You know, and I know there's been a lot of times I've had to go back and tell Mom that I'm sorry for the way that I acted, or I'm sorry, you tried to teach me better than that, you know, and certainly.
God gives us 2 years to listen and gain that,
Yes.
And then one, you know, gives us one mouth, so we need to be listening.
And that was the latter part of that. Verse 1 was said that bow thine ears to my understanding, you know, listen, let it sink in, right? What's going to become of this? Well, verse 2 again, we see the implication and the application, then we see what follows with that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. Discretion, what is that? What's that, brother?
Discerning between right and wrong.
Discerning, yeah, you're discerning. You're making that choice, right? Discretion, and that thy lips keep the knowledge, okay? For the lips of a strange woman drop as honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Could anybody know women any better at this time in Solomon? How many concubines or how many wives? You know, it gives us numbers of how many that he had, right? And certainly with these women, they even allowed them to, even got him into worshiping false idols as well, right? They took him away. How many women have you seen take good men down the wrong path, you know? That they have allowed, you know. You know, you got a hold of this good woman, you keep her, you know, and hold on to her.
Yeah.
Don't you go out here looking for something that you don't need, right?
You can't put it all on the woman, 'cause, you know,
Yeah.
the man has to make that choice too.
Oh yeah, it's always two, brother. It's always two. But
You just read that about Adam and Eve. There's,
Yeah.
you know, you're one, so if you
Yeah.
allow it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So, but what it is, they don't hold the word, they don't listen
Yeah.
to the word well.
But if
they
a
don't
man is-
apply us.
But if a man's not looking, is he going to get himself in trouble?
Sure.
You think so? If he's not looking, if he's satisfied with the one that he's got at home and he's tickled and happy, you think he's going to get himself in trouble?
No, but if he's,
That's a hard question, isn't
if
it?
he's out
It is.
there hitting the trail and he ain't looking,
Yeah.
he's gonna get hit wide open.
Sometimes them old snares get thrown out there on us, don't it? But
You
again.
get what you ask for.
Exactly.
But that's not, like I say, you know, that knowledge and wisdom comes
Yes.
by seeking the truth.
Uh-huh.
If you don't follow the pattern and the instructions and the examples of this Bible here, and that's why people fail today, they don't. And we do, I mean, we make mistakes, sometimes we fail miserably.
Yeah.
But if we go back to the basic, go back to the words like the prodigal son, he had to be shown, he had it wonderful, he had a good life, but he wanted it. But that's the word, want. He wanted it. Well, when everything failed, he come back and he didn't even want to be a servant. He came to himself. He didn't want to be a son. He wanted to be a servant, just to be. Father, don't take me back, son. I've been, you know, I brought a good name is to be seek more than great riches, you know. But
He was brought down to
He was
humility. Yes.
Lord, and I
Experience.
was eating what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was humble.
Yeah.
He was humble. That's right.
But you know, like we was talking about how easy it would be, but we've got to always be on guard for this. You know, when women come up to us, you know, and try such things, or men come up to women, we got to say, hey, listen, I'm a married person. I'm married and I'm happy. I've got a wonderful family. Get out of here. Leave me alone. You know, sometimes we may have to just run away from that situation, right?
Joseph.
It's you know, do we like Joseph did? That's right.
Examples.
Yes.
Can I share a story Bob Newhart told?
Yes,
He
absolutely.
said, when he was young, he was on the road a lot.
Uh-huh.
And he was, there's all these pretty call girls and everything.
Yes.
And he'd been on the road for a few weeks, and he called his wife and he said, honey, I'm missing you. And she said, I'm on the way there.
There you go. There you
So-
go. Dedication right
With
there.
her,
Right?
with her there, he didn't think he would have the
She
temptation.
understood, you know.
Good.
He was afraid that he might fall into that temptation.
Right, yeah.
That's right.
That's where
That's not working Christ.
the helpmate comes to strengthen you.
That's it. That's it. And we need that, do we not, James? We need that. Because here it says, what is it? For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb. Honeycomb's sweet, is it not? Anybody ever eat one of those fresh honeycombs out of a beehive like that? And her mouth is smoother than oil. She's got the right say. She's really, oh, your wife don't treat you this good. Oh, I can treat you so much better.
Yes.
We're not careful,
You
right?
lose your soul.
It's it. But watch what it says in verse 4. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. That wormwood was I believe what it was it like a herb or some sort that was a bitter, I think put off a bitter, you know, taste, you know, on that. So, you know, it says talk about how bitter this woman would be as well, you know. So yeah, don't fall into that. You can also look at Lamentations 3, 15 and 19, and you know you can mark that down if you want to, but we won't look at that. We'll get on them more of our lesson here. But as a two-edged sword, where else in the Bible does it talk about sharper than a two-edged sword? Okay, what is it he's talking about there? It's words, right? All them words that could pierce right through you, right? Yeah, watch out for such things. Verse 5 says, her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Her feet go down to death. Does it bother her for what she's doing? Is her lifestyle is doing right for God at any kind of life aspect on her mind right now? She don't care about those things, does she?
This one's probably calloused,
Yeah.
hardened heart,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
the one that's
Yeah.
picking up here.
Yeah. She don't care. She don't. It's just all this, this old worldly things that's going on. And if you fall for her, what's going to happen down that wrong path? You're going to fall in there with her too as well, right? She's already headed to hell. Is that not what it's saying here? Take hold on hell. Her life, the way she's doing. And
All try to understand lust of flesh.
Yeah.
Lust of flesh, lust of eyes, pride of life. And Hebrews 4:12, for the word of God is quick, and it's powerful, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. And that's what the devil, he knows you weakest link, but he won't be around if you're in the light. You got that word abounding in you. You have that striving and hold of that. James 1:21, hold the word that will save your soul. Instruct. What God has joined together, let not man put asunder. And that was long before the church was established. He established Adam and Eve there. So marriage means something.
it does.
Don't plan for the wedding or what color rice you're going to throw. Plan for the marriage.
Plan for the marriage. That's right. Because that vow that you make between you and God with that person, that's a commitment, is it not? That's a commitment. I remember, I may have shared this with you, I remember Dad at work one time, he told a man, he'd seen this man hitting on this woman. He went up to this man, he said, get away from her and get away from her now. Said, she's a good lady, she's got a good husband and a good family, you leave her alone. Should we not be mindful and watchful for people that same way? If we see somebody doing something that might bring harm like that to one, should we not go to them and say, get out of there, leave her alone, or leave him alone, Are we not our brother's keeper that the Bible speaks of? Of course we are, right? So it's our ideal. Too many marriages over the years have failed due to such things as some, not getting enough attention or something, and somebody showing that thing, where they could get them or steal them from that one, We see how many broken roads have went down that wrong path. Certainly not good. Verse 6 says, lest thou shouldest ponder the path of life, her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them. There's nothing good about it, are they? She moves, she changes, she goes like the wind, right? She may be falling for you today and you fall for her, but what's going to happen next week or on down the road? Well, she's going to leave you just like you're nothing. Then what? And then what? Verse 7. Hear me now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. He's given us, take hold, right? Take hold. How many of you mothers and fathers have told your kids, listen to what I say to you? Why am I saying these things to you? What are they going to do for you?
Keep you out of trouble.
Keep you out of trouble. It's not just about the same message that Solomon's trying to give to his son here. Take hold, listen. The importance of that, We learn in school at a very early age what we're supposed to do with our ears, right? To listen. And how we're supposed to speak with our mouth, And if we could just keep applying that even as we get older, listen. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh at the door of her house. Don't even go around, right? Get away. I've heard many men say, well, I'm strong enough, nothing is going to happen like this. She's just a good friend.
Yep.
It ain't long before that man has lost his family, he's lost his wife, he's lost his children. And before long, a lot of times he'll lose his job. He'll go from being, way up here to nothing but below the ladder. Then I've seen them like it. I've seen them get hooked on drugs and dope. And then I visit them in jail from what
Like
they
Gary's
was.
talking about, it's, I don't wanna say it's nothing more than, but it's the little G that's preying on your weakness.
It does, buddy.
I mean, he knows what it is, and that's why that's why if it's a woman, he'll send a good-looking man or whatever her needs are, or, same thing with the man. He knows what to do.
But again, that's where we have got to come in and pray, and pray that for our marriage every day, do we not? Pray for it to be strong. Pray for it to be strengthened. I mean, I look around this room here today, and I know there's some that's been married 40, 50, 60 years even, probably. And how wonderful that is that, y'all work through these things, and y'all held together, y'all stayed together, and y'all will be blessed for that. What an example to others that you are. Y'all withstood it, y'all made it. And keep on making it, keep on going, and keep on praying, and keep on going. All right, verse 9. Lest thou give thine honor unto others, and the years unto the cruel. What does that mean, class? Lest thou give thine honor unto others. You've took it away from your wife, right? You've given it to this strange woman. You give it to all this wrongdoing that you turn to. Is it good? What's going to happen, Gary? It's going to take everything you got and destroy it. It's going to destroy everything you got. And thy years unto cruel. It's going to be miserable on you. It's going to be miserable. Verse 10 says, lest strangers be filled with thy wealth, and thy labor be in the house of a stranger. What? Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth? Again, talking about who you've run to, right? Strangers, right? They've taken over your life. They own you now, you can say, right? They've taken that from you. And thy labor in thy house of a stranger. Somebody read Jeremiah 6 and 23. Jeremiah 6 and read verse 23. All right, brother.
They shall lay hold on bow and spear that are cruel and have no mercy. Their voice roareth like the sea, and they ride upon horses set in array as men for war against thee, O daughter of Zion.
They don't care. They don't care. Gary talk about the prodigal son. Go back. When he had all his wealth and money, he had all kinds of friends, right? But when all that went out, where was he?
Gone.
They knew they couldn't milk him no more, right? It's time to find someone else, right? That's all they care about. They don't care about nothing that you, all they want is what you got that they can have, right? No mercy. And we see people like that today, don't we? We see people like that today that does that. And verse 11 says, and thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and thy body are consumed.
And when you come to yourself, realize what's happened, and you mourn.
Yeah. But here it's talking about the end, right? I mean, are they a point to where once it gets to that point where flesh and the body are consumed? That's death, is it not? Could that not be death?
It could be, but
Yeah, it could be that you're at the end of that road. It's where you come to yourself. Like the prodigal son as well. Very good. That's right.
Just like Jeremiah 6:23 that Lee read, but 22, Jeremiah kept telling him all what God was doing for him, how they needed to turn.
Yes.
But he was saying there's gonna be you're gonna be overtaken, and that was the Babylon coming out of the north to consume them. But Jeremiah, every day, and
Watchmen.
and they just, and it tore him up. He was the weeping prophet, you know. It wasn't that he was
No.
weak at heart. No, he mourned for his people. He couldn't get them to listen. They wouldn't listen. Hey, we're God's people. But hey, they get out of sight and they turn back. But they said, now there's going to be a day. And that was 70 years. But then the Babylonians, was they the one that, no, you had all those others. And then right at the end of it, it says that God's going to set up a king. That's what we're in today. But it's all the instructions and the faithful and those that died, all the prophets.
But the end is coming. They that have done good to everlasting life. They have done evil, what? To destruction, right? They are going to be destroyed. Just as the days of Noah was, right? Noah preached to the people 100-something years, did he not, while the ark was being built? Why, who all was found upon the ark? 8 people, right? Noah, his wife, 3 sons, and their 3 wives, right? What happened to all the other people? Do you think they regretted when they started seeing that water rise, when they seen the boat float, and when they could not go nowhere but the water drowned them? You think, man, I wish I'd listened to them, right? What about Sodom and Gomorrah? Finally, what to get down to 10 righteous people? Couldn't even find that many. What happened? Who got to walk out of Sodom and Gomorrah? Lot and his 2 daughters, actually, right? His wife walked with him, but she looked back, right? She turned into a pillar of salt.
But it's just like in the heart, and it's just like everybody says, well, we're doing right. We don't have to do this. But 2 Timothy 2:15 says, study to show thyself approved unto God. Well, who closed the door of the ark? God did. Wouldn't it have been hard on Noah if they had left it? But God closed it. And it says in Revelation 2:10 for us, if we don't stay a Christian as it was in Acts 11:26, be thou faithful in death, and I'll give thee a crown of life. He's done everything for us. He's given us the way, the truth, and life. And if we don't, the door's going to be closed. We won't be able to see Christ in that meeting.
But what we're seeing here, you know, what Solomon's trying to bestow on them, this is going to take you. It is going to actually, it's going to get you, and you're going to regret it. But then you're going to be so far into it, you know, and say.
I don't remember who you said it out here. I think it was Jason Barber. Take you further than what you want to go, keep you longer than you want to stay.
Sin, yes, it will. It will. It'll do that. And say, verse 12 says, and say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despiseth reproof. You know, let's go on verse 13. And have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined mine ear to them that instructed me. Teachers here is what I've read, it's mother and father, you know, on this part, you know, as a child, how we trained up and how we try to teach and instruct our children on what they need to do and how they need to do it, you know. But here he says how you hated instruction. Did we ever get to a point in our life that we thought we knew it all? That we didn't need nobody teaching us, telling us nothing? Have we? Was that a bad thing to say that? Should we have hated the instructions that was being given to us? Why was these instructions being given to us, right? We done talked about that, right? To protect us, to keep us, so that, you know, that they could show us the right way, you know, and teach us. And even the Bible goes on to say that our days may be what? Longer, right? Live longer, you know. Get out of this foolish stuff. A lot of people that died early in their years are out there in cemeteries now due to foolish things that they got themselves into, right? Foolish things. Brother Jamie, one of the hardest things it is for me is I see people that I known years ago that were good, moral people. But somewhere down the road that they made these wrong choices. And I look at them now and don't even hardly recognize them the way that they got into, the drugs they got into, you know. And had one to come up to me here a while back, and it took me forever. I wanted to ask him, who are you? But as young, I know this person all my life and been friends. The meth and stuff and the drugs that they've got on, how it's changed them, you know, Terrible.
Yeah.
Bad choice, bad instruction. And it goes to say that, why? Why do you hate the instruction or despise reproof? Because you have not obeyed the voice of my teachers and inclined mine ears to them that instructed me. Again, goes back to what was just reading.
Yeah, I don't need nobody to tell me what to do.
Don't need
I
nobody.
know how to direct my own steps.
That's it. I was almost, verse 14 says, I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation and assembly. What does it mean, class, that I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation or assembly? What's going to happen? You get out here and get yourself in trouble. Well, who are you going to stand before, right? Do we not have law? We not have where you go into a court system? Do we not have where people are in that area, jury, or what's it called? It sits in the 12 chairs. It makes it jury. Yeah. You know, to judge or to waive a verdict. You know, you may say that. You know.
But also, since I was almost in all evil, thinking, you know, maybe that you do have an out if you come to repentance.
Yes. We could think about our own life, you know, how we was in sin before we obeyed the gospel, right? How we turned around. You know, I know what Dal makes that comment many times, you know, that I wish I would have done something that more than 2 or 3 years ago, you know, but how wonderful he's made that decision now.
Yeah.
We talked about the gentleman that was 80-something years old, you mentioned. And I'm sure now he wished, man, I wish I'd done this a long time ago too, you know. But you know, why? You're all right now. You're in that good relation. Just keep going down that path and you're going to be fine, right?
Well, I know two young men, well, young, my age,
You're still young, James.
oh yeah, but young in Christ. They had only been baptized in the Edge of the Lord's church maybe. One of them was just a matter of weeks when he lost his life.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, I won't say just 3 or 4 months or something like that. And for them to take their next breath in paradise and the Hadean realm and look around and like, why did I wait?
See,
You know,
you know, when one enters into heaven, you know, what took me so long, but thank the good Lord that His mercy was bestowed upon me that I obeyed, right?
look how much catching up I got today.
Yeah, that's it. All right, let's see. Yeah, we might can cover one more. This is going into more about the wife and so forth. But it says, drink water out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own wells.
Don't go get some dishwater from somebody else's house.
Yeah, the grass ain't always greener on somebody else's yard, is it? No. You know, be content, be happy with what you've got there at home, right? You know, don't go out here thinking that you're gonna find something, you know, that's gonna be better or more pleasing to you. Stay with what you got. Make it work.
Something mama can't wash off.
Yeah. Hold on with that, right?
The verses before 15 could apply to single men too, though, couldn't
What's that, honey?
the verses before 15 apply to single men as much as they do married.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because it's gonna come on down here and talk about the youth, Monday night youth, you know, holding on, you know, that's right. Yeah, certainly a lesson there for young people as well, you know, make sure who you're out there and what you're doing, you know. Find that one that's gonna be good to you, you know. The main goal for any husband or wife, or for one looking for a husband and wife, is you're gonna help me get to heaven, and I'm gonna help you get to heaven. That's it, you know. And with that in mind, everything else is gonna fall right in there, right?
Well, being flesh and blood, good more for this, that, they're a companion to control your urges.
Yeah. Just like Vivian said, about that,
Yeah.
I'll be right there, you know, that's right.
Yeah, right.
You know, they see the need, they see your need, they learn your need, you know, and y'all become one flesh, you know, you're oneness with one another, right? So they see where they're needed. Absolutely. All
That's
right.
where it falls into like, where it says evil companion. Now, if you run you're married, because I seen it at Lazy Boy many times. This young man got married, and he had his group that he grew up with, I guess, that played ball, went fishing together, went to bars and stuff, whatever. Well, he got married, he had a wife, and we was working second shift. But, yeah, it's all right, come on now, she'll never miss you. She's home, well, but they wore him down, you know, stuff. And even I told him, I said, look, you gotta go home. You chose to be married. These young men, they can't see what you're gonna destroy, you know. So you made the choice. They're still your friends, but you don't go in a bar. Well, I'll go and I won't drink with them, or I'll go and well, it just don't.
That's just the
it
start.
wears you down.
Walk in the door,
Evil companions corrupt
Good manners. Amen. Or more. That's exactly what it is.
Let's go ahead and
Stay the course.
Yeah, stay the course. Let's go back to 15 whenever we start again. So mark 15, and we'll cover that more. Appreciate y'all for a good class. Thank y'all. All right.